This season of anime, there wasn't a lot that caught my eye, maybe one or two, definitely not that SAO garbage. I recently finished watching A Place Further in the Universe, and man, there were many tears shed, I'm not gonna lie. To make myself feel manly again, I decided to watch the highly recommended show, Goblin Slayer. Oh boy, did I not know what I was in for. Goblin Slayer is one of the darkest anime to come out this year, delving into topics that other animes aren't willing to touch with a 10-foot pole. In this video, I'm going to discuss the first episode of Goblin Slayer from top to bottom. If you are new around here and want to join my little ever-growing family, then definitely hit that sub button and like button. It would mean the world to me to have you be a part of this experience. Also, for the 2 people that actually keep up with me, 1, thanks for staying consistent. I appreciate that consistency, my guy. 2, you might be wondering why I'm uploading only after a week since my last video. Well, the simple answer is I'm on fall break, and I did kinda want to stay relevant and not get lost in the YouTube algorithm. This one is probably going to be on the shorter end of my videos just because I've only had a week to work on it and put it together. But with all that out of the way, I'm BriThi, your local DGen, and today we're going to discuss the first episode of the hottest show this season, Goblin Slayer, aka this show is metal as fuck! Let's get into the world that Goblin Slayer takes place in. This is a fantasy world where there are a variety of species ranging from high elves to, well, of course, goblins. The difference between this fantasy setting from any other medieval anime is that Goblin Slayer doesn't sugarcoat the world it's living in. So basically, this show is berserk light. It sets the example in the first episode with the newbie adventurer group. They underestimate the dangers of the world they inhabit and all face grave consequences. If it weren't for our big dick adventurer, our little priestess would have been another plaything. It really does pull apart from the other fantasy shows, putting in the dark themes that you never ever see in other shows. This really brings a breath of fresh air into the genre, offering something different this season while it may not be for everyone. The main character, the priestess and Goblin Slayer, are part of an adventurer guild with 10 ranks. Our cute priestess is starting out, putting her at the porcelain rank, while Goblin Slayer holds the rank of silver. In this universe, rank basically represents how much power you hold in society while also reflecting the strength of the individual. The first episode does a fantastic job establishing the world and providing the groundwork for the characters and who they are. Up next, what I wanted to discuss was a certain scene that may have given this show a lot of criticism in the first episode. It definitely was not a pretty one. Manga fans and people who have seen the first episode know what I'm referring to. Oh boy, was it not a pretty one. I'm a big fan of gory anime, so I didn't really mind it that much, but I can understand casual fans being turned off by this scene. The thing with me though is that media and other entertainment sources put these kinds of themes in their source material as well, so sometimes these complaints fall on deaf ears for me. Plus, hey, any publicity is good for the show, I guess. The anime actually tones down the scenes compared to the manga. The anime emphasizes the goblins as how monsters they are versus the manga putting emphasis on the girls. I believe that these scenes are necessary for the show. It sets the precedent for the whole show, establishing the world and how it will treat the characters. This kind of world building is necessary and sets the stage for the rest of the show. This allows for viewers to get a little grasp of what they will be taking in. Honestly, starting off with scenes like this will pull the intended audience in while driving the people the show wasn't meant for away. It was pretty ballsy of the studio to not tone it down at all, and I applaud them for it. Finally, I wanted to address the 2 characters we see a lot of in episode 1, Goblin Slayer and the Priestess. From the get-go, you can see the huge power difference in the 2. This can be seen in episode 1 when Goblin Slayer, is kicking ass and taking names while our Priestess is peeing herself. This dynamic between the 2 gives room for the priestess to grow while also offering Goblin Slayer a bit of humanity. They have a good thing going for both of them. They have different personalities and ideas that can blend well together. Another thing to note is that we don't really learn any of the characters' names in the show. They refer to each other by their character archetypes rather than using names. I find this rather interesting because it doesn't really help us grow really attached to our badass berserk wannabe and our novice priestess. Although my theory about why it is presented this way is due to the fact that the source material plays out very much like a fantasy tabletop RPG with character classes. I feel as if the author had this idea in mind when he decided not to give them names. But hey, what do I know, he could have just been fucking lazy and decided not to give them names at all. Overall, I'm excited for this series and I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for this badass goblin slaying monster. After watching the first episode, I kind of spoiled it for myself and read the manga, and man oh man, is there some good stuff to come. The only thing I'm worried about is that the story so far follows a very linear storytelling, fighting the same goblin threat over and over again. I understand that is the premise of the show, but I would personally like to see further expansion of the world and the battles our heroes are going to face. I don't mind it too much, but for the longevity of the show, I would like to see a little mix up. I hope you enjoyed my little review of the first episode of Goblin Slayer. If you enjoyed this video and want me to do another, then let me know down below. I would appreciate if you considered liking this video, or if you decide to go the extra mile, subscribe. I'm BriThi, your local DGen, signing off. Sayonara!